Welcome to the Talk It Out.
Oh, what? Talk Show again.
Welcome to the Talk It Out Show, where we have facts and information for you. Please hit the subscribe button and bell notification to let you know when we pop up. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, share. Okay, so we were supposed to be eating burrito, but my daughter didn't cook it, which we kind of figured. And plus, we thought it wasn't going to be enough food, so we went to Carl's Jr., got something to eat, and we decided we're going to talk to you about how COVID has affected us. And they did not give me my tomato.
Oh, no.
You know how I hate when I go to a place and they don't give me what I want that I asked for. And you don't get it to me. That's why I asked for tomatoes, because they don't really put them on here.
Wow.
So anyway, so that is our topic for today.
Well, I was interested because when you told me that's the topic, what's real first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this food that we're about to receive. Thank you for blessing us and guiding us. Thank you for being in our life. And I ask that you just continue to encourage us and bring peace to us. Because sometimes the new year start rocky for all of us. So we want it to be smooth out. Heavenly Father, and I ask the same thing for our viewers. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. That was a good prayer. Hallelujah. All right. So, well, anyway, when I found out what the topic was today, I thought that would be interesting because I did want to know how it affected you. I thought that was interesting. And I know it's affected all of us in some form or fashion. And a lot of times we, in the beginning, I think of the pandemic, we always kind of we knew kind of people far off, like maybe knew somebody who had it or something like that. Well, now it's so common and it's everywhere. There's so many people that, I've already known, several, and then of course my household. So it was just interesting. So, and I do know that even if we know somebody who had it, depending on how close they are to us or whatever, it's going to affect us anyway, depending on, I know for one thing, because when my household had it, then of course I couldn't even be here and she had to do this. And that affected her because she had to do shows by herself while I quarantined.
Which I hated. And a lot of the reason I hate it is that this is really, if you're new to watching us, this one came from a play. And it was 4 of us.
Yeah.
Then it was 3 of us. And now it's 2 of us. And I didn't want this because
there was one. No!
And I didn't want it because of, the Talk It Out show originated with 3 of us. I didn't want it to be like it was my show. You know what I mean?
Because you already had a show. You already had a show?
I already had a show.
And that was hard. That'd be confusing because you already got your own show. And it's like, oh my God, I'm doing this show by myself. When I used to have somebody with me. You know what I mean?
And Talk It Out shows, usually we talk things out.
Yeah. And you have different opinions because there's different people there.
Because I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that with myself.
Yeah. That's kind of hard.
And so I was doing 3 shows by myself on those days, and it was just really one of those things that I was like, this is not fair. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to do this. This is just sucks. And that's the only way I can really say COVID affected me. And the other way it was when my grandfather, before he died, we couldn't visit him in the hospital. But he didn't die in the hospital. He died at home. But, nobody could go. You only had one designated person that had to visit them every day. So, that was what
that's very hard because we got people having babies and stuff now. And
yeah, I couldn't be there for my grandbaby being born.
Yeah,
and the doctors took advantage of 2 teenagers being up there.
Right. The fact that they think you're young and don't know nothing.
And they didn't. So the doctors got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I believe affected some of the things that they wanted to do, like breastfeeding. So those are the things that really
exactly. That's very important. And when you're up there, you have to advocate for yourself. That's why it's always good to have a good plan before you go in, stuff like that. And that's what's so scary because now I tell people.
But as you don't know. You don't know that somebody's going to take advantage of you. You don't know somebody's going to ruin the best part of your life at this moment. You don't think stuff like that.
Right.
You think that, we're young. You might look at it as crazy because we're young, but Now you wouldn't tell us the importance of, making sure, like, after you have a baby, regardless if you have a cesarean or not, they put the baby on you. They didn't. Not even just for a second.
Skin to skin, you gotta have that skin to skin,
Yeah, just for a second, put the baby on you and then go rush to do what you need to do. But they didn't do any of that at all. And as parents, we couldn't fight for them because they were the only ones up there. And so,
yeah, I think that's and there's so many people too. Like you said, now we knew people with some. Now it's really some babies because there's some COVID babies like a mother because people been quarantined. So now everybody pregnant, have babies and stuff, and it's all different. I have a friend. She's about to have a baby pretty soon. And she had a baby right before, pretty much all this stuff happened. So I wasn't able to be there. And she's always been with me when I have my babies. And so we was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do this time? Because she didn't have that many people in the last time. But it was now, we can. You got to make sure that if that's your significant other or whatever is the one you got to be that's going to be there, you got to make sure they're really providing what you need. Because having a baby ain't no joke. And I mean, you get through them labors, get through them contractions and all that stuff. Oh, Lord. You really need somebody to be there for you. And like we say, in all, being physically, mentally present. We don't need you just being physically there and then nothing happening. You ain't paying attention or you ain't in it. And that's the hard part. So it's like, usually you can have a couple people in there. At least the one where one's slacking and the other one ain't. But if you just got that one, you got to make sure that one is the one,
Yeah.
To make sure that it's a good delivery and stuff. And so, one thing I had a chat with last night with a friend that, and me, it didn't really bother me at the time because, it may sound rude, whatever, but most of the people in my life or that I deal with, I'm a person who likes to do for people or help people out or whatever, even though I may have my issues or my health issues or whatever. A lot of times I'm always trying to make sure that people have what they need or whatever. So I come to find out, okay, when you get that, because people have been scared. People you get COVID because so many people have died from it and stuff like that, look, black people in the movies don't go to what's going on. They don't run to the issue. You know what I'm saying? So if you got COVID, they want you to stay away. Stay away from me. Don't come over here. Don't, you know what I'm saying? So, and it felt like, to me, I knew, like I said, I didn't know that in my mind that it would ever happen. It was going to happen in my household. But the way people were acting was almost like as if you had AIDS or something. Or how people tripped out when people first had AIDS, when AIDS came out. So it was like, they want to, don't come to my house, don't do, you don't want nothing to do with them and stuff like that. People were just trippy, and they act really strange. And so, that's what I knew would have happened, if that was to happen. And I did see, kind of like that, and people don't get on Facebook, don't tell nobody you got it, don't tell your household got it, da, 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 da. People gonna say this, people gonna do this, da, 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 da. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, if nobody wanted to do with me and my kids, oh well, because then they just would lose out on whatever I was trying to help them out with, because pretty much people just wanted me to help them. If I was like, oh well, my energy would go elsewhere. And people did act funny. But see, now that so many more people have it, it's like a common, you know somebody who got it or done had it or went through it or whatever. So as long as you kind of like, people would always talk to me about how we dealt with it and stuff like that. And, it was like, look, I consider myself blessed because I was, being on the journey that I started being on when I even started my business. I was trying to figure out how could protect ourselves. I was trying to figure out what we could do. And so, I was trying to make sure we put the proper things in our bodies, build up our immune system and things like that. And, in the beginning of COVID, people was going, you come home, you take your clothes off, and you do this, they was doing all this stuff, and you boil this and that, and, and I was, I'm telling you, we was bleaching it up. We was having everything, and we had this ritual when we come home, this, that. And then it just, because, COVID became so, contractible. That's the word I'm gonna say. It was, I think I remember one point it was like 75%, you could get it, but then all of a sudden it just grew to where you could get it, because it's in the air, it's everywhere. That's why you have to wear the mask, this and that, but it was like, okay.
I think COVID is crazy.
It's just like everywhere you go, So I knew, because I was like, my kids have been, even during this whole thing, they didn't really get to go nowhere. They didn't do nothing. And I knew when it happened, I was like, I only took them to 2 places. And I had, I didn't want them not to be able to get outside and get fresh air. And I mean, we carried the hand sanitizer and this and that, and we were always ready. And so I had taken them to the park 2 times, and then I think those same 2 times we had to go to the store. I knew the store that we had went to, they had a lot of COVID cases. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, they got it from just because it was only those 2 trips. Is that park, that same park too? Because our other parks were too packed. They were way packed, and I was like, I'm not taking you guys to this park. So we took to a park that was not a lot of people, but both times. So then I was like, okay, well, you must have got it that way. But then it was bad because the one who got it, she's had a rough road. Even when she was younger, she was my only preemie, and she had pertussis. She almost died back then. And so then she got it. She just felt, she was just feeling so horrible. And then my son got it from her, right? It was like immediately. It was like immediate. And it gets you so fast because, then it reminded me of when I had got sick, basically almost a year prior. No, it wasn't a year. It was March, I think. But that was when everything was just starting and nobody was really saying anything. And the only reason I knew that I felt that I had it before was because I was here doing the show. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have been dead, because she got mad because I had been doing a show like this, normal, like this, and then that night, I got mega sick, couldn't breathe. And I don't have asthma. The only one in my house who doesn't have asthma. So I knew something was wrong. And I said, I just can't breathe. And my kids have asthma, so we have an actual machine, nebulizer machine at the house, and I used that and still couldn't breathe. And so she was like, you better take your brother to the hospital. And I was like, trying not to. I was just laying there. And then I had got out. As soon as I got off the phone with her, she called my son. It was like, if you don't get to the hospital, call the ambulance. I was like, I guess I better go to the hospital. Because she was like, you were fine when I seen you. Now you're not. You can't breathe. So they said at that time that all I had was the regular flu, but I ain't never had no flu. There ain't no flu been like that ever in life. And the way they were doing stuff when they
that's a problem too. I have. It's like, you get a cold, everybody call it COVID. And so my thing is, when my daughter got sick, she was like calling it COVID, and I was like, well, if I do take her to the hospital and she got COVID, what medicine are they gonna give her? None.
They don't give you.
They just gonna tell you to be quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
There it goes.
Oh, there we go.
So my thing is, why would I waste my time going if I gotta just do the stuff that I'm gonna take from you anyway, just to take care of her? Just give her the stuff. Like a flu or a cold, the only time you really need to go to the hospital for anything is if you really can't breathe.
Right.
And you break it down. That wasn't her issue. She wasn't having breathing issues. She was fine.
And you do get, I would say, so some people have different things. And so when people do have it, you have to be careful because, and I tell people even now, pay attention if you have it and get through it. And there's a lot of people I know who've gotten through it. I'm so happy and grateful that I know quite a few people who have it and they're fine. But there are some, I tell people this, and I'm gonna do a thing on my channel about it too, because I've been writing it down. I've been documenting it, the whole journey. But pay attention to things you had that when you had COVID, the symptoms you had, and if they still pop up every now and then. Because what happens is they'll linger, like sometimes, and then the big thing, of course, everyone knows, is the loss of taste and smell. And it just depends, how fast you get it back or whatever, and then how much of it you can get back, or it'll be over time. Then my daughter suffered with the headaches quite a bit. My son, he's a teenager, so he already was ding, ding, ding in the head, right? Well, he made him way, way worse. Very, very weak, and he's not weak physically, but he was really weak. Like, he was just dropping for a week and just out of it. So every now and then, even though it's been months, you gotta pay attention, because sometimes, like, my daughter comes, Mom, I had a headache, because those things will happen. And my one friend who had it, her nose will now she's got constantly got sinus problems from the sinus that part. So and then something now is wrong with her. She went to the doctors and now something's going on with the blood work. So she's like, okay, there's some weird things that this thing is doing to people. And so I just tell you to pay attention. Pay attention to your health afterwards. Pay attention to if you have things like that.
I mean, regardless of COVID or not, you need to pay attention to your
health.
Oh,
yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff, and I'm going to still say it, and I'm going to be an advocate of it regardless. There's a lot of times they sit there and blame COVID on for everything else. Because I think they get more money, more props to be able to do what they need to do. Because I hear about people break their leg and died, and they talk about it's COVID or anything like that. That's why I'm not rushing to take my kids to the hospitals. I'm gonna make sure I can take care of them first. Now, if there's something I can't handle, like their breathing, or something that Advil and Tylenol mixed together ain't gonna work with the stuff that she gives us and stuff ain't working, then we're gonna rush you to the hospital. But I'm not rushing just to go for them to tell me we got COVID so you can mark it down and get it checked.
Right, exactly.
That's the same way I felt about giving my kids education going to schools. You send your kids to public schools and stuff like that. The schools get paid for it. That's why you gotta apply at the other one, and they gotta get permission from your home school to do all that just to get paid. And so it's the same thing. Like my daughter's supposed to be at this other school, but because of COVID, they're using that as a thing of why she can't go to this other school. And I'm like, why y'all on the same problem? Why does it matter? Because you want to get paid for her. Yeah. Period. Yeah. And
everything's about money. Everything in life.
But people don't think of that. And as I said, so when people ask me the question of how did COVID affect me, it really hasn't, because I don't let it affect me. Now, if people get it, all I could do, like when her family had her, I prayed for them, but I knew they were basically well taken care of because she knew all the stuff to do to heal, and nobody had to be rushed to the hospital. But just so you could say I got COVID, it's irrelevant to me for that. And I know there's a lot of things and resources out there that can help you when you do have COVID. And that's great and everything. My resource happens to be Joanne's, and I'm done. I don't need to get a lot of free stuff just to be getting free stuff. I hate that too. I'm not a person that I'm just going to get everything free because it's free, I'm going to get it. No, if I need it, I'll get it because I don't want to take from somebody else. And that's the thing that I've been noticing is people, refrigerators and freezers are all packed up. I thought it was just mine, but there's a lot of people. And they still going out getting free food boxes and stuff just to throw most of the stuff away because they only needed onions or they only needed fruit or they only needed milk or something like that. And it's like, why don't you leave it for somebody who really does need it? And I think we're being selfish. So that's the thing that I can say COVID has affected me on that. Besides, if I want to go out, it affected my trip when we was going to go to Mexico. And that really put a damper on me, really, because I was wanting that vacation. I wanted the kids to experience an all-inclusive. You go to vacations all the time, but you got to pay for something. So I wanted to experience it with my kids, to experience it all-inclusive and to be able to enjoy and see other things, because then that kind of motivates them to decide, well, I want to have this type of life where I could go to an all-inclusive all the time. And then they could start really wanting to focus on what they want to do in their life as a career. So, no, okay, I don't have to save up because we got to do all-inclusive all the time. So I think that's the only thing that I can say that negatively really impacted me was the things that I said. And that was my grandfather and everybody was able to go see him. Me not being there for my son's first baby. Being able to go on a trip. And I'm sick and tired of masks.
Oh, God.
I am. I can't breathe with it all. I'm sick and tired of masks. And like we go shopping every month on the 8th. I'm going to tell you right now. I had to sit here and say, what do we really need? Yeah. Because I know we got enough stuff. I mean, we got enough stuff that if we go, we need to know it needs to be a Costco effect. Because if we can go to so-and-so and so-and-so to get the same stuff, that's what we need. Because why spend all that money when we can hold it for something maybe in the middle of the month? Now we really eating and doing with stuff, then go shopping.
And then Joanne can buy more crab.
That's true. ain't gonna lie about that.
I
Joanne
don't
has
waste some money
been,
on no food. I don't got to pay. I can give me some grab, y'all.
yeah, so you know it has to be in our budget.
Yeah.
So I'm too full to eat the cookie,
Me too.
and
Me too.
my daughter's gonna be right about me. Yeah.
You can't do anything. Can't even try to prove her wrong and be like, I'm like this burrito on it.
Well, anyway,
Yeah, no.
Joanne's laughing and I'm not laughing because I don't think it's funny.
Yes, that's right.
At this moment, it's not funny. It's not a ha-ha
We
moment.
all know. Y'all don't watch. This girl be on her show trying to do these motherfuckers and challenges.
And I had to take the bread off the dang thing.
It's all hard. And then she talking about she gonna eat burrito. Okay.
It was not my big burrito. It was my little baby burrito.
Yeah,
but
you can't got no room for no baby nothing. We done had drinks. I done drank 2 coffees,
Oh,
y'all.
okay. So you got I forgot. I forgot to put my garbage in there. But anyway, we went to our favorite place, Cafe because we can see it before. This one was. What was this one? This one was a
7-layer.
This is 7-layer.
Yes, that's 7-layer.
So the blended was 7-layer, and this was the something shot. Cookie shot.
I don't know.
All I know.
Was that the mocha one?
Yeah, they both had so many flavors.
Yeah.
All I know, we're gonna always buy 2 drinks when we go. We're gonna have this one hot and this one cold.
I was down in
She was like this.
Hot,
cold.
Oh my!
I couldn't double fist. I was driving.
Both were so.
So by the time we
good.
got here, it was gone.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Hit that bell notification. Thumbs it up. Comment below. And share.
Love you.